Hi, welcome to my video. My name is Onis and I am a story writer. Currently right now I only have one story available and I'm going to get onto that. But first off, I want to acknowledge the Far Cry video that I was supposed to make. Uh, I'm making it, but like it's been a huge hassle to make that video. It's been like a lot of footage, a lot of editing. I'm currently just trying to collect all the footage right now and finish the games. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just gave up on Far Cry 2 for right now because I cannot play that game on this like setup that I have that's literally just arms and legs. I've also been really focused on trying to make this story, doing my job, getting a driver's license, and sitting on my ass, I'm not gonna lie. And now, let's get on to the purpose of this video, me announcing my fanfiction story. So, yes, this story is a fanfiction. If that turns you off, hey, no hard feelings. But if you still want to read my stuff, and you don't care if it's a fanfiction, let me give you a quick description on what it is. Disclaimer first, I'm not only just gonna like write fanfiction though. I'm going to make like my own stories, obviously. This is just a stepping stone. But onto the description, right? So this story is called My Hero Academia, the Zombie Hero. Yes, it's a My Hero fanfiction, but let me cook real quick. Trigger warning for stuff like child abuse, brutality, and trauma. If that's something that's with you and you want to leave off, that's completely fine. Without further ado, let's get on with it. So this story is about this OC that I made called Ayumu Funai. So Ayumu is this boy who has the quirk of resurrection, meaning that he can't die. So one day when he was 11, Ayumu and his family are like driving back from the doctors, but all of a sudden this deer comes onto the road and like Ayumu's mother like swerves to the side to avoid it, but then like a truck comes in, like an ongoing truck comes and they collide. The impact was brutal and left no survivors. When the police got to the scene, they saw Ayumu, this little boy, trying to like take his family's bodies out of the wreckage. And obviously, this event traumatized Ayumu, devastated him. He ended up getting taken in by his uncle, Hanzo Kubo, and he ends up like, living with Hanzo for a bit. Hanzo was a really wealthy man. He worked as like this law guy or like a doctor. I'm not 100% too sure what he was, to be honest, even though I made it. But yes, Hanzo Kubo had it like that. So, right, he took care of Ayumu. He had enough money for both of them to like stay comfortable. And it wasn't a perfect life, but it was a good one. He didn't really have to struggle until one day Ayumu asked Hanzo why him and his dad was so distant, because Ayumu always noticed that his dad and his brother Hanzo never really talked, and even if they did, it was just a simple hello or goodbye. They never really seemed like they were close. And Ayumu learned from his mother Kemi that Hanzo and his father Fuyutake was like heroes. They used to be really popular heroes until they just quit after this huge tragedy. So he asked Hanzo what happened during that tragedy. So Hanzo, obviously he doesn't tell him, and this makes Ayumu feel a certain type of way because he just wants to know what happened with his father, what happened between him and his uncle, because his uncle seemed like a good guy. He always thought that his uncle was weird or something, but he actually seemed like a genuinely good dude. So he never figured out why his father would just stop talking to him. So So, right, the next day after that, Ayumu ends up telling Hanzo the truth about the crash. How Ayumu, surprise, surprise, he died on that day, but he came back. So, this unknowingly to Ayumu sets Hanzo off. Because, right, Hanzo is this serial killer called Onizuka. However, that version of him isn't really him. It's an alter ego, or like a personality that was created after the great tragedy I was talking about. So, right, this sends Hanzo off. He ends up like taking Ayumu to the basement, and there he would like kill Ayumu every day for like a year straight, about 9 times a day, because if you killed him 10 times, Ayumu would die permanently. So after a year, Ayumu finds a way out and he goes upstairs into the main house. But he ends up seeing Hanzo there, and all those days, all those months, a year of him being killed, it filled him up with so much rage that he couldn't just let him live after what he did to him. So Ayumu goes in the kitchen, takes a knife, and he starts to fight his uncle, to kill him. He eventually does kill him, but he regrets it afterwards, because one of Ayumu's biggest dreams was to become a hero. But now he can't, because he killed somebody. At this point, he's like 13 years old. He walks out the house unsure on what to do with life at this point. He's like wandering around. He doesn't know what to do. And then that's when he runs to his like favorite hero, who is Jackhammer, another OC that I made up. So Jackhammer comes down and he's asking this boy, okay, what happened to you? And that's when Ayumu starts breaking down, crying, explaining Jackhammer everything from his parents' death all the way to where he murdered his uncle. Jackhammer, listens to all this, and Ayumu, right, he ends up asking him, look, I know I killed somebody, but is it still possible for me to become a hero, even though I'm a murderer? Short version, Jackhammer told Ayumu yes, and he ends up taking it under his wing so that he can learn under him on, how to be a hero. So after that, Ayumu is still devastated from everything that happened to him, and he's trying to really move past all of that and get over his trauma so that he can become a proper hero. So that's really it for the description of the story. If you're interested in, reading it, I have 3 chapters out now on Wattpad. It's called My Hero Academia, The Zombie Hero. It should be on my Oni's27 account. I had the link in the description. So now I'm going to get into, the inspiration for this story. Obviously, the inspiration was My Hero Academia, but really, it's like I wasn't really planning on making this anything at the time. I was in high school, right? And I thought this My Hero Academia OC because, why not? And then I came up with Ayumu and his whole story. Basically, the whole thing with Ayumu is that I wanted to kind of like take some aspects of Deku's story and reverse it. So you know how Deku had, no powers, but he had like this mindset of a hero that ended up pulling him into becoming a hero. But I saw that and I was like, what if that was reversed? What if somebody, wanted to be a hero, it's just that they had the power but not the mindset? And so that's how I came up with the zombie hero, right? It's kind of like this parallel to the main story that I made up. And spoilers ahead, there is a chapter where I will reveal that Ayumu's trauma runs really deep, like deeper than anybody thought, and now he himself has an alter ego of Onizuka. It's not the actual Onizuka, the one that Hanzo had, but it's like a similar part where his brain like makes up this whole personality that's violent and malicious. It's kind of like his own survival instinct, I guess. And that's supposed to symbolize how Deku had his power passed on down to him. How the biggest thing about Deku is that he gets his powers from All Might. So I thought, well, what if this OC of mine got this trauma from somebody else? So it's like Onizuka is kind of like passed down trauma, like how One for All is a passed down power. And yeah, that's everything I wanted to share. That's the quick update. That's the quick announcement that I wanted to make. So again, if you want to read My Hero Academia, the Zombie Hero, the link is down below in the description. It's on my Wattpad at Onis27. My Hero Academia, the Zombie Hero. Give it a read. I'm gonna make chapter 4 pretty soon. And thank you for stopping by and listening to me talk about my dreams and ambition, and hopefully soon I can get this story done. Well, I want to still take my time with it, make it the best I can, and then I want to switch over to this new story I'm gonna make. I'm going to tell y'all about that once I'm a good ways into this story as of right now. But yeah, that'll be everything. You all have an amazing, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.